welcome once again. I'm Dr. Bart Rademaker, prescription for your transformation, hashtag real people, hashtag real conversations. And I know it sounds kind of repetitive every single time that I say this because it is on Facebook Live. But the great thing about this, the whole purpose of this platform is really to support those unique individuals that really have a pretty incredible message to share with you. And therefore, it's important for me to start off this platform with the distinction of where it's coming from, because I'm hoping that this will be repurposed and shown everywhere else. Because these are the people that deserve to be noticed, deserve to be heard. It's all about new voices, new solutions, your transformation. Because I'm looking out for people that have a great message to share that can potentially change your life dramatically, if only with a new idea that they can give you, or even better, so that you can solicit their help, their support, their coaching, whatever it is that they have to give you so that you can change your life. And in turn, I get to support them as well. And today I am bringing a very impressive fellow to be interviewed, and a young guy that, I'm impressed with. It's unusual for me to be impressed by the young guys of the world. They still have a lot to prove themselves, but here's one person, just by the power of his voice, really gives me the absolute certainty that, he is the straight talker. He is the guy that delivers. And so I want to welcome Chris Schinke. Thank you very much for joining me today.
How's it going?
It's going great.
That was super impressive. I like that.
Well, the thing is, you are impressive. And, I don't want to discredit your age for any reason at all. It's just that when I first met you, just your essence, your energy, your presence, the way that you talk, the things that you say is very impressive. And I'm sure that anybody that you coach, and you have a lot of clients yourself, and by way of introduction, Chris is a peak performance coach. He's actually a lot more than that. And he also works for the Tony Robbins company. And, all of his clients, I'm sure, are extremely lucky. You have your own businesses out there. And so for today, I'm just going to invite you. I know you're getting ready and ramped up to coach your clients for 2017. And so what are some of the things that you're sharing with them for their outlook for a great year?
Well, the biggest thing that comes to mind, and you know me, and what I like to bring to everything is fun, right? So I do have a certainty that we're going to get the client's results, and we do. And what I'm really focused in on is that we're having fun. They're enjoying themselves, because what I know is when they're happy, they're having a good time, they're going to get the results quite a bit faster. And not only that is some of the saddest things that I run into are people that are hyper successful, and as you know, we're around a lot of hyper successful people that aren't really enjoying themselves, right? So they have all of the things that you're supposed to have, and yet life isn't fun at all. So a lot of my focus is really bringing that, I would say, levity. I don't know if that's what it is, but just the attention and the focus onto the fun piece.
So tell me one thing, because I'm very curious about this concept of yours of fun, because I have found myself, after many years of dedicated to, medical training and practice and everything else, where technically speaking, there's not a lot of fun. But I find myself that I'm in this place where I can say that I have a lot of fun right now, simply because I'm really doing the things that I like to do. And because of that, it's fun. But is there a risk for complacency when it's too much fun?
Well, it's funny you mention that, because I hear that a lot, is like, well, if I'm enjoying myself, maybe I'll stop, right? Or maybe I'm not going to push myself harder. And I think a lot of that is what you're familiar with. It's making it an or conversation. It's I'm extremely driven and I'm making things happen, or I get to have fun and I stop. And so it's really about combining the two, making it an and conversation. It's like I can be driven, I can go out and crush things and make things happen, and I'm going to have a butt ton of fun along the way, really enjoying myself, noticing what's happening. And I think another key distinction is that doesn't mean it's not going to be challenging or hard, right? That's not necessarily a separate thing. Just because something's hard or something that we've said doing a lot of endurance things is embracing the suck doesn't actually mean it's not fun. It can actually suck and be fun at the same time.
And talking about embracing the suck, I mean, you know what hard work is. You want to share a little bit about that story?
Yeah, so I went through some major life transformation. I want to say it was probably 4 years ago. It started me on this journey from doing what I consider what normal people do, which is having a business and doing it and having fun, enjoying myself because that's what I do, and then really going on a transformation where I transformed not only what I was doing physically, I transformed relationships, transformed the way that I approach business, profession, work. And as part of that, one of the things that really got me juiced and got me going was doing, various, whether it was hiking the Grand Canyon rim to rim to rim for a good cause, for Project Athena, or doing a bunch of Spartan races or various endurance races through the Robbins group, and we hooked up with Spartan, and then eventually culminating in a physical challenge, which was the Kokoro for Seal Fit, which is a 50+ hour endurance event. And so with a lot of those, you get a lot of physical suck because you're doing things that aren't actually very pleasurable. And what you start to notice, and it's true in the business environment, it's true in relationships, is when you make a conscious choice to have fun and really embrace that piece of it, it actually becomes easier. It's what allows you to make it through the longer stuff. So that's actually one of the things that has solidified not only the research behind it, because there's a lot of research about happy people and optimistic and people that have fun doing even better, but also from the physical events I've done. I mean, that that hammers it in when you're running for 13 miles and everything hurts and you don't have shoe inserts and you have no food and you're like finding food on the ground. That if it's not funny, that would really suck. It almost be impossible, right? It's too easy to quit at that point. So I'd almost, to your earlier point, my belief is it actually enables you to push harder, to try harder, to do more when you're actually enjoying yourself, when you're having fun.
I guess it's also has a lot to do with language, and obviously you're so familiar with language and what you focus on. You and I have had similar trainings in that respect. But this whole Kokoro Camp endurance program by Mark Devine, he also has this incantation that's very, very unique to enjoying the suck. Do you remember what that is?
Yeah, I've pushed most of those memories out of my mind, so I'm not sure I quite remember what it is. But he has some. Not only he has some really great ones, but the instructors and trainers that he has out there working the camp, they have some very choice sayings too to move you along, which is pretty cool.
Okay, so perhaps we can't share those on Facebook Live right now, but the whole thing is that again it is the language, and I don't work anymore. I just have fun. I do. I mean, the number of hours, my labor hours, if you will, that I have is pretty intense. It's sometimes up to 16 hours a day. But I never call that work. And I think when the choice of language, which I'm sure that you help with your clients, makes a huge difference in whether they're having fun or not.
Yeah, no, that's huge. It's noticing what you're doing, or the idea that you get to do whatever it is. I hear a lot of people say, people doing what they love or doing their dream, and they say, oh, I have to go do XYZ, or I have to go meet with these people. And it's like, it's just reconnecting with the idea that you actually get to do this. And it seems simple, and as you know, language is so powerful. It's a complete mind shift. I mean, it really does. And you find that especially in doing anything physically, obviously that helps too, to push you along.
So we were talking earlier before the show. One of the concepts that you like to share is little. What is that about?
Well, to the irritation of some, I think, which makes it even more fun for me. Um, my belief is, and I show up in a lot of places with the belief that, really to be better than most, or to have more fun than most, or to really enjoy your life, it actually takes so little. And it was something that my friend said to me one time. We were hanging out doing something, doing work around something. And she goes, you always show up and you always make it happen with so little. You do so little and it always just seems to work out. And I started to think about it. And when you really look at people that are successful, it's not that they're not working hard or they're not working 16 hours, a day, because they are oftentimes. And what you really see is, instead of them going really, really wide with all kinds of tools and all kinds of concepts, and this new book came out and I'm going to take all the skills from this book and I'm going to add them to my 50,000 other books, what you see them really doing is always learning and growing and really going deep, taking one or two things and really focusing in and just driving home on those. And so that's really my belief with life and being successful. And what I've seen from clients is the ones that are really successful, taking it to that next level, they're going to take one or two things and really focus in on those pieces and go really deep with them. When I say deep, I mean keeping it like a consistent practice. Like, meditation is amazing, right? And if I meditate one day and then the next day I decide to exercise, and then the next day I'm going to drink a green juice, and then the next day I'm like, waiting to see what's on Oprah to see what I'm going to do next. Versus, hey, if I meditate every single day, I take that one thing and I meditate every day, the benefits from that, or the profound distinctions that you get over time, are huge. And so that's why I say it takes so little. I don't know that it's actually as much of a code as everybody says.
Now, and I would tend to agree with you. I often like to use the term, less is more, especially in the practice of medicine. And people get so carried away with all their options these days, it's sometimes hard to make a choice. And you'd be absolutely right. When you have too many choices, then you kind of dilute the effects of each and every one of them. So like you said, if you don't meditate consistently, you're not really getting that full benefit. And that's why stacking it up that way makes a lot of sense. So I have to agree with you on that. So I have another question for you. You mentioned earlier on something about, you see some sad stories. I mean, I know you can't be very specific about that, but why do those things happen? What is it about, these, very successful people, but then there's, a very unfortunate side about them? Why do you believe that happens?
Yeah, I mean, two things come to mind. I mean, one piece is a personal story, and it was, getting my business and then working there, and having the belief or the story that I was doing it for this family that I was creating and all these other things. And when that piece, the family piece, fell apart for me, which was right around that transition period, that was when I realized what I believed I was doing it for, I wasn't actually doing it for that. Right. So I was creating this thing that I wanted. And then all of a sudden when it fell apart, I was like, oh crap, this isn't actually what I wanted to create. And so I find that with a lot of the people that I work with, I'm working with successful business owners, entrepreneurs, is they get to this place. And when they get there, when they thought they were going to be happy, right, when they thought everything was going to be amazing, they get there and they go, okay, this sucks. And it's actually one of the things, working for Tony, it's one of the stories he tells about, is creating this amazing company and then realizing like, hey, I'm not fulfilled, and I've made this and this isn't great. And so another example too is I have a client who talks about when he cashed his first $3,000 profit check on some deals he was doing, about how him and his wife went out and they had this amazing dinner and they celebrated. It was like this most massive thing. And then a couple of months ago, he cashed a $350,000 check and nothing. It was like, and then you're worried. Then you're going, well, what the hell's the matter with me? And so it really is that piece in, deciding what you want to experience, having fun, being happy, and that really comes before the results, in fact.
So you're talking also about how to celebrate, and most people don't know how to do that.
Yeah, exactly. How to celebrate, how to make sure you're noticing the fun. And in fact, I was watching a video online today, and it really encapsulated it, which was, it all boiled down. The guy was talking about people using cell phones, right? Using cell phones all the time when they're with people. And when the message that really came out was, it's really all about being present to the moment, or being present in life, right? And so that's so often, whether you're working your own business or you're in a job maybe that you don't enjoy, is start becoming present to what I always say, the fun, right? Start noticing the fun, start noticing the happy pieces, start noticing the experience that you're creating, because really, as you know, we create our experiences anyways. So let's do it now instead of waiting, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. Now, something that I find quite remarkable. I mean, you're still a young fellow. I'm a little older than you are. And you have up to 100 clients worldwide that you coach on a weekly basis?
A little over 100, yeah. Not on a weekly basis, but a little over 100 clients, yeah.
No, that's pretty impressive. And these are obviously very successful people. And so, what is it that what does it take, I should say, to be able to coach that many people effectively? And also, some of these clients obviously are a lot older than you. Obviously, they're pretty successful in their own lives in certain ways, but looking for success in others, and that's why they want your help. What does it take for you to be able to do all that?
That's a great question. What it takes is the certainty that I can provide what they're looking for. And typically what they're looking for is to get to whatever their outcome is in a quick way. And what I'm also making sure that we're doing is having fun doing it too. And so being able to service them, it always starts with us first. And so I have to make sure that I'm servicing myself. And what I mean by that is that I'm taking care of myself, that I connect with what I do. I mean, my job, coaching people and happening to work for, the number one peak performance person in the world, my job is freaking cool, man. Not only that, I mean, my client roster is a group of people that, no matter what they're doing, from owning massive companies to really sitting at home and deciding like what kind of business they're going to create, and they're in that stage. I mean, these are people that are fun people to be around. And so some of them come with different challenges. Some of them come and they're just like rocket ships. And it's being able to connect with the idea that where else would I get to work with amazing people like that, who are
Right.
all absolutely committed to changing their lives, right? And changing the lives of people around them. And if I don't connect with that piece, and I just show up and I've got a phone call, I'm going to talk for half an hour, then it would be very easy to not be excited. And when I get in contact with the truth of what I actually get to do, the privilege of what I get to do, working in people's lives, and I'm sure a lot of people that watch the show are coaches themselves. It's being able to assist somebody in their life to do the things that they want to do. I mean, how freaking cool is that? And so that part leaves me really juiced all the time. And so it's like we talked about, right? It's connecting with what you're actually doing, and whether you're making somebody coffee somewhere, which is like, that's the biggest gift ever, to make somebody a good cup of coffee in the morning. I mean, how cool is that? But whatever it is, just really connecting with what you actually do and what you provide, that makes it very sustainable.
That's an amazing response. And yes, it is a privilege to be working for the number one peak performance guy in the world and his company. And it's a great honor and privilege to be helping people, because it's a lot of fun. And I would have to agree with you when there are people out there that are really striving to, get the answers, for themselves and improve their lives. Because when you get to help one person, Chris, it has a ripple effect on so many others. And the truth is, it's also about what you don't know that you don't know. And that's what you get to deliver to people. And especially this concept of connection in this day and age with technology and all these obligations and all the shoulds that we have, or we should all over ourselves, right? Then then you get to help people remind themselves that, yeah, you got to connect with yourself, connect with your essence, connect with what's really important. And obviously, you're doing that at a very high level, and I respect you for that. And I can tell your clients are very, very lucky.
Well, I appreciate it, and that makes me think, because you've been involved in the self improvement world for a long, long time. I grew up being involved just because hearing cassettes and all these different things. And I think one of the things that people like us who have been doing this a long time or been around it a long time, you forget is you always want to provide people with so much value, right? So many like tools and like amazing things. Like I'll teach them spiral dynamics, and then we're gonna teach them NLP, and we're gonna do all kinds of cool stuff, and let's teach framing, and let's do all these things. Oftentimes it's just remembering and connecting what it was like the first time you heard something like, oh, you can actually choose how you feel. Like
Right.
it's mind blowing, right? And so I think that's just with it takes so little. It's like just really reconnecting with the fact that most people aren't at a huge deep level, and you can absolutely change somebody's life by just saying, hey, do you really want to choose to feel that way?
Right.
And this isn't in coaching; it's just everywhere. It's with everything. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think it's easy to get lost in all the stuff out there and lose sight of what's just right in front of you. And that's why I've always been impressed by you. And I really want to thank you for today. And looking forward to having future conversations like this, and maybe even get like a round table of a couple of you guys, just to talk and share more ideas and concepts and insights. Because again, this platform is about that, is about connecting with yourself, but also connecting with what you don't know that you don't know, that's going to make a difference. And so that people can hear amazing individuals like yourself that have walked the talk. Actually, I mean, you've done the work. I mean, you've lived it, you've experienced it, and I think that makes a huge difference. Some people don't necessarily have that experience, and again, you don't have all the experience in all things, but because of the way that you've structured yourself and your life and your coaching, you're actually able to help so many people in their areas as well. And so I wish lots of success for you in 2017, and as you help many others.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I think you make a really good point there too. Is it's not always about like 100% rocket success. I mean, and that's actually what enabled me to be where I am, is having actual severe challenges. Right? Having things like going wrong, and then getting to go out and utilize the tools that everybody talks about, and start to make shifts. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to shift again, or do something different, or say, hey, you know what I'm doing now is not amazing, I'm going to do something else. And that's really the fun piece of it. So I think it's awesome that you provide this platform, and it's been cool to see all the different people that you have on.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for that. And thank you for joining me. And so just to wrap it up, do you have any last comment or advice or suggestion you want to share with the world?
Yeah, I mean, as we move into 2017, it's kind of what we had talked about earlier, is decide what experiences you want to have and what you want it to look like, and then just go out and start doing it. Start doing little tiny pieces that get you there. And what's really neat is at the end of 2017, you'll look back, and it's kind of like that statement. You go, well, how the hell did I get here? Like, this is pretty cool. And then then we just repeat.
Awesome. Fantastic. In other words, make success easy, and success leads to more success. So for 2017, may all the success be yours too. So I'm Dr. Bart Rademaker, Prescription Free Transformation, hashtag real people, hashtag real conversations. And if people want to connect with Chris Schinke, just find him on Facebook, and he'd be delighted to connect with you. He's an incredible human being, and I'm honored to know him as well. So thank you, and God bless.
Thanks for having me.